It is 10 o'clock a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Monday the 13th. Bad day. Bad day. Monday the 13th. Or like Friday the 13th. Worse because it's Monday, right? Okay. Anyway, so it is the 13th day of May 2024. This is episode 896 of Bitcoin, and the Circle P is open for business today. The Circle P vendor of the day is Beisnerds. That is at BEISNERDS, both on Nostr as well as on Twitter. What does he sell? He sells maple syrup, and it's maple syrup that he makes himself. You get a quart for $7, 3 quarts for $68, a half gallon for $45, or a gallon, $80, and 4 pints for $50. His Nostr NPub will also be in the show notes. Right to it because I actually got him linked. He also sells his sister Sarah's soaps. He has a sister. Her name is Sarah, and she makes soaps. She makes really good beef tallow based soap. These are the kind of handcrafted soaps you see them at like farmers markets and stuff, and then you go, ooh, it's all pretty, it's all great, and then you buy one, and it gets gross and nasty when exposed to like high amounts of humidity in the bathroom, right? It just melts away. Not this soap. It does not do that. This is one of the reasons I always say, if you're going to buy some maple syrup from Beisnerds, also get some of his sister Sarah's soaps. I'm pretty sure that Beisner still has some maple syrup left. It is getting late into the season, so be aware. If you want to try some of the best maple syrup you've ever had in your entire life, you're going to want to probably move on this pretty quick and make damn sure that you tell them you heard it from me on the Circle P. What's the Circle P? It's where I bring plebs like you, the plebs like you that have goods and services for sale in Bitcoin. If you're not selling it for Bitcoin, not in the Circle P. And that's just like if you say, no, I'm just going to take fiat only. Well, sorry for you. You may have a great product. You may be a pleb through and through, but the only way to kickstart circular economies is things like the Circle P, where people sell their goods and services for Bitcoin. Main chain transactions, lightning transactions, hell, even if you're doing eCash, that's fine. I am not considering eCash a shitcoin at this point. I have no reason to as of yet. But we've seen what the governments are doing. They want to control things. They don't really want us to be able to be in control of money. And so they're trying very desperately to make self-custody an issue. And they want you to just have the e, because that way you can't do any real damage with the Bitcoin as long as it's locked up, custodian hard, as somebody like BlackRock is regulated, right? So what's the only path forward? To sell your goods and services in Bitcoin. That's why when you're supporting this show, the Bitcoin and podcast, I want people to send Satoshis. I want that. That makes sense to me. You're not going to send me shares of BlackRock Sybit. Okay? That's not ever going to happen. Only way that we can get around the regulatory environment that we see playing out, and it's not like this is a surprise, is to actually trade our goods and services for Bitcoin directly. Not indirectly, but directly. All right, so that's the spiel. That's what I got. Let's get into the news. We're going to start down south in El Salvador. El Salvador has launched the Bitcoin Treasury Monitoring website. Zoltan Vardai has it for Cointelegraph. El Salvador has launched its own proof of reserves website featuring various tools for monitoring the country's Bitcoin holdings using on-chain data. Salvador's online Bitcoin treasury provides real-time data on the nation's reserves. Central American nation officially holds 5,748 BTC, which is currently worth approximately $360 million, with Bitcoin trading above the $62,700 as of 8:20 a.m. UTC. El Salvador has bought 7 BTC worth over $438,000 during the past week, while adding a total of 31 BTC worth $1.94 million over the past 30 days. Website. The purchase aligns with El Salvador's adding 1 Bitcoin to its treasury daily. Remember when Nayib Bukele said that they were purchasing 1 Bitcoin a day, and we were all bitching him, saying, well, we don't know if you're actually doing that because we can't see it. Well, it appears that they are. Get to the appearance here in a second. Let's see. Oh, yeah. First country to adopt Bitcoin. Yes, we know that. President Nayib Bukele's decision received widespread criticism. Yes, we know that too. We know the IMF and the World Bank are just beside themselves. Gets even. Check this shit. El Salvador has been dollar cost averaging Bitcoin since 2020, with an average buying price of $43,097 per. With BTC trading above 62,000, El Salvador has an unrealized profit of over $57.4 million on its Bitcoin holdings, according to the Nayib Bukele website. El Salvador's Bitcoin holdings could represent a significant lifeline for the nation. Now listen up, guys. Popular venture capitalist Tim Draper told Cointelegraph that the country could soon become financially independent and pay off its loans to the International Monetary Fund if the Bitcoin price reached $100,000. Many popular crypto analysts have suggested following 2024 halving, Bitcoin could see a cycle top of above $150,000, according to a research report by Bitfinex analyst Telegraph. Quote, using a straightforward regression model, we predict 160% post-halving price surge in the next 14 months, taking the price to between $150,000 and $169,000. Bitcoin's price action will mainly depend on the institutional United States spot Bitcoin funds, which turned positive after 3 consecutive weeks of net outflows. U.S. Bitcoin ETFs amassed a total of $413 million worth of net inflows in the past week. All right, so let's go back to the most important. The fact that their Bitcoin holdings, if the price of Bitcoin, if they stay on track with the 1 Bitcoin per day buying, said that they were going to do, and the price goes to $1,000, Nayib Bukele would be able to extinguish the debt on the loans from the International Monetary Fund, which is not going to make them very happy. They want that loan alive. They do not want that loan extinguished because that's the only way that they can do the things that they do. And what they do, in my opinion, is they're not out to help poor nations. I used to think that a long time ago. I no longer believe in any way. But that begs the question. If the price of Bitcoin hits $100,000, do you think Nayib Bukele will just liquidate everything just to extinguish that loan? I don't think so. But what would be very interesting if he took that and, let's say, had a friendly company that would make him a using the Bitcoin collateral, and that the interest rate was lower than the interest rate he's getting from the IMF, and then use that to pay back the IMF. What you've done is you just exchanged the overlord, the masters, and the IMF being your master. You don't want to have anything to do with it. But let's say it was, I don't know, Unchained Capital. Don't go thinking that I've got some kind of inside baseball. I don't. But let's just conjecture here that there was something like Unchained Capital that we're sitting on a lot that could, in fact, sit on a lot of cash if they wanted to, and then basically make the loan to El Salvador and then pay off the IMF. That would be an interesting turn of events, because now what we would Bitcoin companies in the business of making loans to countries instead of World Bank and IMF and all the ghouls you have to deal with on a daily basis. You want to talk about pissing some people straight off, that would do it. But I still don't think that Nayib Bukele, no matter what they do, I don't think that's the plan. We'll have to see. But the other really important thing about this particular website that they're talking about, the quote unquote Nayib Bukele Bitcoin tracker, is that it looks to me, actually, I know it is. I can just, this is built on mempool.space. It's not just them throwing up graphics, and graphs, and well, here, I'll show for the guys over there in zap.stream. They can see this picture or this website that I just put up, and the URL is bitcoin.gob.sv. I guess is like bitcoin.government.salvador, but it's bitcoin.gob, boy, G-O-B.sv, Salvador, right? Okay, so what I'm looking at is the mempool.space interface, except that it's been customized. Now, if I scroll all the way down to the bottom, that right down here, and I'm going to highlight it for the guys over there in zap.stream, you can see that this is mempool.space version 3.0.0 -dev. If I go to mempool.space, the regular one, actually, let me do that. Hold on. Mempool.space. It up, and I scroll all the way to its bottom. I have version 3.0.0-dev. So the Nayib Bukele Bitcoin tracker is in fact not something that they're throwing together, or but it seems to me it is a customized version of the mempool.space web that just looks at what's going on with their wallet, as well as the general blocks that are our Bitcoin chain. But if you look at the Bitcoin balance history graph, he's buying 1 Bitcoin every single. And this is going to be really, really hard to spoof. It's not that it's impossible, and it's not that in the back of my head, that in the back of my head, there's a flag of caution to say, don't just believe. However, it's very difficult to not look at this and say, I'm pretty sure that this is exactly what's going on in Salvador. It's powered by mempool.space. That much is clear. But it's customized. So that begs the question, would I be able to customize a web page with mempool.space that looks like my own wallet? Or like if I had a company, like let's say I decide that Circle P I spin it off and turn it into an actual company instead of something that do plebs out there, right? Would I be able to have the Circle, like set up a wallet for Circle and then have version Nayib Bukele had for the Circle P? I don't know. I've never seen this before. I think it's honestly, it's fascinating, but be that as it may, it does pretty much suggest that Nayib Bukele has the Bitcoin that he says he has. It says right here, BTC holdings, 5,749 BTC, valued at just over 360 million. The 7-day change sees an addition of 8.00 BTC, worth just north of $500,000. And the 30-day change is 31 BTC, worth 1.9 million. I mean, I don't think this can really be spoofed I mean, it can, but how much? I mean, if it just doesn't seem audible. I mean, it doesn't seem plausible. So I think that Nayib Bukele buying Bitcoin single day looks to me like he's been doing it for a very long time. So I'll just go ahead and leave this up so you can. Oh, and he's also one of these windows. He has a feed to his own X Twitter time, which I think is really, but it still has the transaction fees. It's got a graph of his balance history, treasury transactions. It's also got the recent block. So it's like an amalgam of uh, customized mempool.space, but it's still actually actual regular old fashioned data, which I think is. Now, moving to the other side of the Pacific Ocean, the Japanese listed firm Meta Assets was no MetaPlanet has added Bitcoin as a reserve asset now with 117. I told you about MetaPlanet before. They were following in the steps of Michael Saylor's strategy, but they're over in Japan. Let's see what here. This is out of Cointelegraph. Helen Park. Publicly traded investment firm MetaPlanet has added Bitcoin as a reserve asset in response to a continued decline in the Japanese yen. MetaPlanet is making a strategic shift in its treasury management strategy, prioritizing Bitcoin first and Bitcoin only approach. The Tokyo based firm officially back on May 10th. Oh, wait, no, they're announcing this today, but they announced that they were going to, I don't know, a couple of weeks. Quote, this move is a direct response to sustained economic pressures in Japan, notably high government debt levels and prolonged periods of negative real interest rates, as well as the consequently weak yen, the company stated. The announcement doesn't specify how much Bitcoin is or planned to be held in Treasury. On May the 10th, MetaPlanet did disclose that it bought a total of 117.7 BTC, 7.19 million, at the average price of around $65,000 coin. MetaPlanet's market value stands at around 3.5 billion yen, or roughly $20 million. Okay, so let's just pause. They're talking about MetaPlanet's market value. So that's the valuation of the entire company being $20 million. That's not a lot. That's a pretty small company. Yet almost half of that is in Bitcoin. That's impressive. That's somebody who's basically saying, we either do this or die. That's the feeling that I get. So let's continue. MetaPlanet's Bitcoin adoption comes just a few weeks after the company initially disclosed its new Bitcoin strategy in early April, announcing the completion of its first Bitcoin purchase worth $6.5 million. The move fueled significant traction on social media and caused a sharp price increase of MetaPlanet shares on the Tokyo Stock Exchange. Listed under the numeric symbol 3350, MetaPlanet stock rallied just above 35 Japanese yen, which is about 22 cents US, from 20 Japanese yen, which was 13 hours after the April. Before its strategic shift into Bitcoin, MetaPlanet primarily operated in the traditional investment scene. Founded in 1999. Wow, that was a long time ago. MetaPlanet originally operated a hotel business, investment services, and as an investor relations consultancy. The news comes just a few days after MetaPlanet appointed prominent market researcher Dylan LeClaire as director of its Bitcoin strategy. Quote, this is just the beginning. MetaPlanet CEO Simon Gurovich wrote a Twitter post on the company buying more. 9th. The Japanese yen has reportedly been the worst performer in 2024 among major currencies against the US dollar, dropping to record lows in April, last seen 1990s. According to local sources, yen's drop in value over the past 3 years came mainly from the gap between domestic and a growing trade deficit. So there you go. But what was really eye opening was when they, and I just learned this, that they appointed Dylan LeClaire as the director of Bitcoin strategy. This is a Japanese company, and they are basically scooping up one of the youngest analysts in the Bitcoin space from the United States. I caution the United States regulators at this point, if you want brain drain to happen, you keep on doing what you're doing. People will leave. They will go work for other. I think this notion of patriotism is being severely limited by the actions of people that are in the positions of power in governments, not just in the United States, but all countries, are seriously damaging the patriotism felt by the citizenry of those particular countries. And no longer is it that we would not just, bail out and go to another country, work for, not based in the United States. You want brain drain to happen? You keep right on doing what you're doing. Okay, so just you do that, and we'll all be fine. Now, getting into banking. This is out of Decrypt, Matt DeSalvo. Banking giant Wells Fargo has revealed investments in Bitcoin ETFs. Oh my God, how much do they own? Let's find out. American banking giant Wells Fargo disclosed investments in multiple, got to be good news, right? Multiple Bitcoin ETFs on Friday, per regulatory filing, making it the latest institution to get on board with the crypto-based vehicles. Paperwork filed with the United States Securities and Exchange Commission shows that the bank has bought shares of Grayscale's GBT, bought Bitcoin fund, and that it also has exposure to Bitcoin Depot, a Bitcoin ATM provider. This is going to be good, ain't it? The document shows that the bank has invested in ProShares Bitcoin strategy, which gives investors exposure to futures contracts that bet on the price of the. But this is embarrassing. The exposure is small. The filing shows that Wells Fargo investment in GBTC amounts to $140,000, while its ProShares investments is under $1,200. No, not $1.2 billion, $1,200. This is the kind of money that you might carry in your checking account. And the exposure to Bitcoin Depot, yeah, that ATM company, $99. Why do you even report that? This is embarrassing. Back in February, a report counts. They've repeatedly talked about investments. Okay, and then they get into a little bit of price analysis on. Dude, so when that news first broke on Friday, it was after I had done the Friday show. I saw it, and I was immediately going, what the hell is this? Because the initial reports were saying that that their exposure was $141 million. And I can't remember who. It was like News BTC, some outfit. I don't remember. Turns out, no, it wasn't $141 million. It was $140,000. So, wow, not even worth it. Except that they do have exposure, and that's maybe they're just testing. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what that is. That seems like an accounting error, but whatever. Because the big news of the day, right here. Roaring Kitty comes roaring back to life. GameStop trading paused 9 times as Roaring Kitty return drives a meme rally. Matt DeSalvo for Decrypt. Meme coins and tokens surged early Monday morning after an internet figure who inspired the 2021 GameStop rally posted for the first time in years. Keith Gill, aka Roaring Kitty or Deep Fucking Value, who helped fuel the 2021 rally via Reddit posts and live streams, posted to Twitter an image of a man leaning forward in a chair while holding a video game. It was his first tweet in 3 years. The post hints that meme stocks and cryptocurrencies may be due for a rally again, or at least that's how traders are taking. The price of GameStop shares more than doubled from the close of business Friday to the market's open on Monday. And the surge in demand prompted NASDAQ to halt trading 9 times already this morning. Fellow 2021 meme stock AMC, the movie theater chain, also jumped by 33% today, while adjacent stocks like Reddit and Robinhood are gaming. Back in 2021, Roaring Kitty posted about gains that he made from buying shares, falling businesses like GameStop, which had been shorted by top investment firms. His post prompted people to in, eventually leading to Wall Street chaos due to shares suddenly going up in value. The craze led to a surge in so-called meme stocks, or shares in companies that became popular on cryptocurrencies. Experienced a boom as a result too, with top meme coins and tokens going up in value. They are now a key part of the crypto ecosystem and have surged this year as part of Bitcoin rally. And today they're up even more. Of the top meme coins by market cap, Dogecoin is leading the charge. Woof woof. It's up nearly 6%, trading hands for 15 cents a Doge, according to CoinGecko. Meanwhile, other popular but small cap tokens like Ethereum-based Pepe and Flocky are both. Who gives the meme coin point out of retirement? I guess you can call it retirement after 3 years, not posting a thing, posting a single picture. This dude sitting forward in a chair, holding what I thought last night when I saw it was TV remote control, but when you look at it, it becomes kind of evident it is a game control. So my first initial thought when I saw the picture was that this has nothing to do with GameStop. And I still, maybe I, wrongly, I'm thinking that this doesn't really have anything. In a way, that play has already been kind of played. Maybe, like I said, I reserve the right to be completely and utterly wrong. But what if he's looking at something else? What if in that 3 years, he sees something else? Now, I'm not going to attribute to him that he's some kind of master trader, analyst to end all, analyst. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that maybe he does see something that is not related at all to GameStop or AMC or the other shit that went on in 2021, which was absolutely. What if this is about the dollar yen situation? If this is about treasury bonds? What if this is about something more structural than GameStop? Because GameStop isn't structural, not the trading value between the dollar and the yen is, and that's due to what? Treasury bonds. Underlying structure of world market, like it or not, United States. That's the underlying structure of everything. Shouldn't be. I don't agree with it. I don't like it, but that's what it is. Can't get away from it. So what if Roaring Kitty isn't roaring back into life because but something may be actually important? I don't know. We'll have to find out, but in the meantime, run the numbers. CNBC futures and commodities got West Texas Intermediate up 0.6% to $78.73. Brent North Sea is up a third. Natural gas is up 4.5 points to $2.35 per thousand cubic. Gasoline is down to $2.50 a gallon. Shiny metal rocks are mixed. Gold having a bad day. It is off 1.39% to 2,300 ounce. Silver is off 0.16%. Platinum is copper is up over 2 points, and palladium is down 1.7%. We got live cattle is down 0.76%. Lean hogs are down 1.25%, and feeder cattle are down almost a quarter. Dow is down fifth of a point. The 0.06%. Nasdaq is up 0.16%, and the 0.5. So what news? I don't know, but something is about sideways trading day. Clark Moody's Bitcoin is flashing 62,660, 650. Yeah, it looks like our big green candles are being offset by some downward action today. $62,630. That is a $1.23 trillion market cap. You can 26 ounces of shiny metal rocks with one Bitcoin. There are 19,697,646 of, and the average fees per block has dropped again to 0.17 BTC in fees on average for a per block basis. How many blocks are there, you ask? I don't know. Find out. 224 blocks currently carrying 181,000 unconfirmed transactions waiting to clear with high priority rates of 14 Satoshis per V-byte. Low priority is 12, and anything under 4.5 are going to be rejected from pools around the world, which are operating at a hash rate of 587.2 exahashes per second. From Bitcoin and episode 895, entitled Wealth of Networks, I kind of got bupkis. Except thank God for letter 6173 with 5,000 says, #1 booster of Bitcoin and of all time according to Fountain. No shit. Damn, letter, I had no idea. I challenge anyone to try and dethrone me. But remember, if you come for the king, you best not miss. Nice. He also comes back and he says, he's replied to his own note, says, although looking at it, the number is off. It shows 380,000 Satoshis an all-time boost, but my local number in Fountain is 1.1 million plus. Pitar came back and replied and says, my local number is 2 million plus, but it's definitely off, so there may be some issues. Joey Delage with 3333 says, always a banger. Christian Farmer, a 67 with 2,000 says, nothing in pies, finishes us out. 100 sats, thank you, sir. No, thank you. And that's going to be weather report. Welcome to part 2 of the news you can use. And oh, look, another bank is in Bitcoin. America's largest bank, JP Morgan Chase, has disclosed spot Bitcoin ETF holdings according to an SEC filing. Oh joy, let's find out about this one. This is from Bitcoin Magazine, written by Nick Hoffman. JP Morgan Chase, the largest bank in America, has revealed exposure to spot Bitcoin exchange traded funds in a newly filed document. The SEC filings by JP Morgan Chase provide specific insights into the bank's exposure to spot ETFs, Bitcoin ETFs. The bank currently has exposure to spot Bitcoin ETFs issued by some of the largest asset managers in the world, BlackRock, Fidelity, Grayscale, and more. Though the amount of money allocated to each ETF seems a bit underwhelming. Oh, gee, who could have guessed? Taking into consideration how much money other institutions allocating to. That's because, quote, JPM, Susquehanna, and others are just market makers and or APs. Their ownership isn't necessarily indicative of anything other than this is how many shares they had on 3/31 or commented Bloomberg ETF. Safert, quote, if you're making markets in these things, the number of shares held could swing heavily day to day. The 13F filing data is simply a snapshot of long positions held on the date of 331. 13Fs don't show shorts or derivatives, so we don't even have a full look at their true exposure on 331. Well, 31st day of. Bloomberg senior ETF analyst Eric Balchunas also commented, stating, quote, "We'll probably see many of the big banks holdings in market maker /8. That is different from them buying exposure and thus less hypocritical case. Props for catching this, though. We still working on filing on it. Just came out," end quote. Further quote, "What is notable in my opinion is the sheer number of holders that each has so far. IBIT has 250 holders. That's bonkers for first quarter on market," Balchunas continued. Quote, "Here's a comparison of the other ETFs launched the same week-ish, kinda, as BTC ones, and we still have like a week of 13Fs to roll yet." And he highlights that Fidelity, Bitwise, ARK21 shares, and iShares have 136, 60, 42, and the aforementioned 250 holders. The rest of them are really, there's not very, like, CCM Global Equity ETF has one. Roundhill Bitcoin Strategy ETF has one holder. Yield Max Universe in ETFs, 3 holders. I think the next one up is Calamos CEF Incorporated, and Arbiter ETF has 6 holders. Okay, so maybe that's the situation that's going on with Wells Fargo. We're not getting a full picture from their 13F filing with, and Eric Balchunas basically called it out right here, as long as safer, saying we really don't know what these things mean because these things can swing on trades, and all you had was the snapshot what was going on that one. So we really don't know what banks are. But the fact that JP Morgan Chase is holding anything makes me wonder if Jamie Dimon really hates Bitcoin as much as he does, or if he really does, whether or not he's chewing somebody's ass out because they did what he told. I don't really care, because we're going to move over to Block. They are looking for mining development kit beta testers. Block is looking for individual developers and developer teams who are interested in building novel Bitcoin mining applications with its mining development kit, beta hardware, and software. Need to apply before July 15th this year. Again, if you want to be a tester for the mining development kit for Block, you got to get your data in before July the 15th, 2024. Quote, "We're excited to announce the launch of our mining development MDK beta program. As we begin to allocate a limited number of our first beta kits, we invite interested developers to submit their applications. Each MDK unit will consist of 3 hash boards equipped with 100 5-nanometer BZM2 ASIC chips and a controller board loaded with our custom firmware. The system is expected to produce hash rates of up to 110 terahashes with energy efficiency ranging from 27 to 33 joules per terahash." I'm pausing to note that that is way less of an efficiency rating than the brand new S21 miners that Bitmain just a couple. I have yet to see any of those in the wild, so I don't know. They were talking about 15 per terahash. Insane amounts of. Anyway, it will also include an API for seamless integration with various existing miner management software solutions. Enhance the performance and usability of our hardware. Each hash board is equipped with an embedded controller to allow more flexibility in controlling ASICs. All the components are compatible with commonly available market options such as chassis, TSU fans said block. Note that the MDK hardware is early prototype hardware using a third-party mining chip. Our eventual production mining system will use our own internally developed 3 nanometer mining chip, which is expected to result in a much more system. Participants in the beta program will receive MDK hardware and software free of charge. Apply to MDK beta program here. Give a link. No, it's not an easy. It will be in the show notes because I put all of the links to the URLs in the show notes for read. So just go find the one. No BS Bitcoin out blog. Be there and you sign up. Free. This is free, but you got to get your shit in before July 15th, 2024. But you could get some mining hardware. Anyway, where are we at now? Oh, Spirals. We're still kind of on block. Spiral has renewed the grant for the Summer of Bitcoin initiative. God, Summer of Bitcoin is a global online summer internship program focused on introducing university students to open source Bitcoin development. 9. Quote, grant renewal, a major educational initiative that we've been supporting Summer of Bitcoin since a voice from the nameless ruins behind our office made us choose between backing Summer of Bitcoin or enduring a lifetime of all food having the texture of oysters, announced Spiral. Quote, interns who go through the program contribute to Bitcoin projects of their choosing, with some even becoming mentees themselves. New projects are arriving all the time. Know an up-and-coming Bitcoiner looking for a start, looking for one for yourself? Well, go to summerofbitcoin.org. That's summerofbitcoin.org. Summer of Bitcoin, all one word, .org. Thank you, Spiral BTC, for your support. That same voice had left us 2 choices. It was either enable university students to contribute to open source Bitcoin or endure a lifetime of cosmic banana peel calamities, said Summer of Bitcoin. Response, the humor has me riddled. I'm in stitches. Now, final one up for today. U-Tree XOD beta is now available for general public testing. U-Tree XOD is a full node Bitcoin implementation with support for U-Tree XO accumulators. It enables immediate node bootstrap by having the UTXO state hard-coded into the code base, uses a tiny amount of memory, and has a low disk input-output. Quote, U-Tree XOD, a full node implementation with U-Tree XO accumulator support, now available for general testing by the public, announced Calvin Kim to the Bitcoin mailing list. Quote, it's important to note that the code and protocol is not peer-reviewed. Using the node for production usage or for non-negligible amounts of Bitcoin is not recommended. There will also be breaking changes requiring frequent updates as well. U-Tree XOD is also based off of BTCD, Bitcoin node implementation in Go. Because of this, there may be consensus incompatibility, either as a result of the BTCD bug or a Bitcoin Core bug. Also note that there are not many U-Tree XO nodes on the network. It may take a while for the node to find the XO node to sync off of. To help bootstrap the network, consider running an archival node or a bridge node, said the developer. Huge thanks to the Human Rights Foundation for funding my work for this release. Without the support, I wouldn't have been able to focus on you. Added, and this is Calvin Kim. Key features: the implementation of efficient U-Tree XO accumulators with improved deletion algorithm from the U-Tree XO paper. Efficient peer-to-peer transaction relay with support for caching U-Tree XO proofs for mempool transactions. Quick sync to the tip of the blockchain with Assume U-Tree. Built-in wallet support with BDK Wallet and Electrum Personal Server wallets. So U-Tree XO is just an ability to get a new Bitcoin node off the ground quickly. It assumes that's what the assume U-Tree-XO is. It assumes that just a few blocks back are valid. And then boom, it gets those blocks, you're off to the races. When I started up my brand new node on my Smart 9, it took about a day and a half, maybe like a full day, because it was syncing blockchain all the way back from the Genesis block and revalidating transaction, every block, all the way up to the chain tip. And then and only then would the node actually start up and run. I could run a wallet or fire up a Lightning Network node. You're not firing up a Lightning Network node unless you have a Bitcoin that is running. Running is different than it syncing. While it's syncing, it's not actually in runtime. It's in sync time. Just getting the blocks, making sure everything is synthetic. Only after it does the entire blockchain, which, or depending on how beefy your internet connection and or processor, that determines how long it takes to get running. When I did my first node, it took 3 days to do the big. And then I took my node down for like a couple of weeks. Actually, I think it was down for a good 6 weeks. When I got back, I had to wait for at least a couple for it to sync back to chain tip. U-Tree-XO, it assumes that the last few are in blocks, and you can at least get the rest of your stuff set up. You Electrum, Electris, you Bitcoin node, or a Lightning Network node. You can other stuff. So there you go. Right. So if you want to kind of help these guys out, you might want to consider testing. It is U-Tree-XO-D. It is in beta, and it testing. That's going to do it for the. Ad says jokes. My friend Jack claims he can communicate with vegetables. Turns out Jack and the beans talk. All right. So, the bank news. Basically underwhelming. Still don't know exactly what they've got up there. Roaring Kitty, we're going to have to actually see why he's. I think the 9 stops of trading this GameStop, I think that was basically a whole bunch of people making an assumption that Roaring Kitty is talking about GameStop again. I got a sneaky suspicion that he is. I totally can be wrong, but I'm looking for him to start saying something. I get the feeling, given experience that he had through 2020, 2021, that, and the fact that he hasn't been back in 3 years, they have been studying something else. Because I really think GameStop kind of played out. Again, totally could be wrong. But it would be interesting if Roaring Kitty seeing something more structural and is going to play that one off. Because it's all a game, whether it's game. I mean, I don't think the game controller meant games. I think it means he's out to game something else. So be on the lookout for that shit going on, and I will see you on the other side.